To this day, I have never seen a single one of these men. Like, how bored do you have to be to make up people? What's up, demons? Welcome back to my channel. It's Danny, and today I'm here to tell you a story about how I got catfished. At least I think I got catfished. To this day, it's unconfirmed. Let me take y'all back in time to MySpace. The days that we got rides from our parents and we had to ask permission to go over to our friend's house. So I think I was in middle school around this time, and I was having a whole identity crisis. I was hanging out with a bunch of white people, and I mean that with no offense to white people, because I have white friends now that are cool as, but they were the type of white people that were not good for my self-identity growing up. And I ended up losing myself and struggling to discover myself because I was surrounded by whatever input I was getting from them. I grew up in a small town, and unfortunately the white guys didn't like black girls, and the black boys also didn't like black girls, and it was a lot of, oh my god, I still remember to this day. Even one person that comes to mind, like to this day, I talk to, they're in my inbox, but I remember I thought they were cute and I wanted to date them. It was this black guy, and he's like, oh well, I'll think about it, like, you know, I usually don't date black girls. And I was just like, cool. Anyways, who's in my DM now, son? But that is beyond the point. Unfortunately, I don't know what was going on in my small little town, but like a lot of the black men, at least the portion I was growing up with, and I'm pretty sure it's because the area I live in, because I meet guys from Richmond all the time, and I feel like they didn't grow up like this. I feel like it's because I'm in like a little small little, like, I feel like it's just the area I grew up in and this like town specifically. So unfortunately, a lot of the black guys in my small little town specifically, I'm just talking about this geographical area, were in their like screamo phases. So I think they were also struggling with their identities. And no, I'm not saying that black people or black men cannot like rock music, alternative music. I love that. I love the diversity. I'm just saying, I feel like a lot of us during this time and age, I cannot speak for everybody, I feel like we enjoyed that type of scene, but I also feel like we were denying a huge part of ourselves and our own identity while we were in these scenes, trying to fit in with, you know, all of our white friends. Back in the day, I was straightening my hair like crazy, just trying to fit in. Yeah, me back then didn't even know this could be a thing, and didn't even know how proud and happy and beautiful, you know, she would feel with it years later. So that said, that was the type of energy. Once again, I'm not saying that black kids are not allowed to be alternative or like alternative things. I'm just saying back in the day, it seems like the source from where that was coming from was more so an effort to fit in with our white friends versus like a genuine desire and interest in the scenes and environment we were in, and also a denial to ourselves. So now I think these days when I meet black people who are into anime, who are into rock music, who are into those scenes, I believe it because they are also very well aware of their own blackness. They are proud of it, and they are just multifaceted to where they like different things from different cultures, genres, environments, whether that be television shows, music tastes, whatever, things that are considered for white people, whatever it might be, instead of like, oh, I'm a black person just trying to fit in because this is what I need to do because all my white friends are doing it. So that's the distinction I'm trying to make. I feel like back in the day, it wasn't always coming from the most genuine place. Maybe it was, but I feel like a lot of the people who I grew up with who were in those scenes had to break out of their like emo, screamo stage, fit in with my white friends, do white things, rock, rage, da da da. And like I said, I don't mean that in a malicious way. This is just the small little town I grew up in. Trust me, I saw it firsthand. So please do not misunderstand me when I say that I'm not saying that black people or people of color are not allowed to like those certain spaces, or that it's not true that they were genuinely liking them back in the day when I was growing up, because those spaces already are stereotypes. Oh, this space is for white people like this. Oh, black people like this. Those are all rooted in stereotypes. Spaces should be for everyone. Liking anime means nothing. It just means you like anime. Listening to rock music doesn't mean anything. It means you like listening to rock music. all that, oh, that's for white people, oh, you're acting white. This whole argument about, oh, this is for white people, this is for this people, da 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 da. Stop assigning things to races. Now, I'm not talking about cultural appropriation and things like that. That's a whole different, way more complicated and complex topic. I'm just talking about limiting people into the spaces they can be in, which are general spaces like anime, rock music, things like that. And I'm saying that I believe that a good portion of the black kids I grew up with back in the day were in those spaces for the wrong reasons, just because they were trying to fit in, not the anime crowd. Anime crowd's been holding strong, and usually if you liked anime in like middle school, high school, you still vibing with it now, so that's pretty cool. I mean that like screamo rock scene. I think that was the biggest thing. Like back in the day, it was like, oh, let's go to shows. We're going to a show this weekend at this underground club. Oh, we're doing this, we're doing that. We're gonna go hang out in the Walmart parking lot on the back of somebody's truck. Like those type of scenes, I don't believe it was for a lot of people, and we still forced ourselves in them to fit in. I don't know about y'all. I know I did. I ended up forcing myself in a lot of environments that I didn't actually vibe with. I just wasn't aware that I didn't vibe with them yet. I didn't know myself, and that's on self-identity. So before I go on my little tangent, my point is, unfortunately, a lot of the black boys I grew up with did not like black girls. You know what it's like to already be in a town where your blackness is so like, oh, you're the only brown person in the friend group, oh, you're the only black person in the friend group. People are always pointing out your blackness, and then when you finally come across like another black person, let alone a black guy, and you're like, maybe there's love, maybe there's a chance at romance, and they're like, oh, I don't date your type. What do you mean, son? You are my type. What do you mean? And I'm not saying you should date me just because like, oh, we're the only two black kids, blah, blah, blah. I'm just saying that if you vibe with me, I've literally been told, oh, like everything about you is great, but you know, I'm like, really? That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing, and it hurts to hear. So with that little prequel, I had at the time, I had two white friends. I'm not gonna name names, we're not doing all that, but think of the most like generic white girl names you could think of, and those were probably it. For the sake of the story time, we're gonna call one Jelly. We're gonna give them food names. One's Jelly, and the other one we're gonna call her Apples. Jelly and Apples. So tell me why, right? This is our little trio, and of course Jelly and Apples got along more because like they were probably able to vibe more, because there were things in white girl world that I would never understand. Back then I felt like an outcast, a token minority in the book that somebody threw in just to like have that side character. I didn't always feel as important as I should have, but now I'm living my best life. I have a very extensive and diverse group of friends, and I'm telling you, it gets so much better after high school. Like high school, middle school, none of that matters. Nothing matters. After you graduate, there is a whole war out here, a war with yourself, a war with the outside world. Like there are so many other important things you're going to have to worry about versus the trivial things you care about when you're in like middle school, high school. I'm just saying. That said, they vibed more, but we still had our little trio. And so Jelly lived in this neighborhood, right? Y'all lived in different neighborhoods, but me and Apples would go visit her, and I don't know how this came about. First off, Jelly was the type of white girl really vibing with black men. Back in the day, I don't think I felt any type of way about it, to my knowledge, but of course it's hurtful when you have like black men telling you, even when you're in middle school and high school, oh no, I don't date your kind, oh I would date you but this, that, and the third, like whatever excuses, and then you turn around and you have like white girl here just like, yeah, I'm just existing, I'm so cool, woo, and it's like, oh my god, she's amazing. She had these neighbors, oh my goodness. Apparently Jelly lived next to a house full of Idris Elbas and Alfred Enochs and Michael B. Jordan. Jelly was neighbors with a house full of like all these fine ass black guys, apparently, or so the story goes. So ever so conveniently, this day, I have never seen a single one of these men. But somehow, yo, like, okay, so there's this whole house of them, and they have all these cool names like Nyshawn and Jeremiah. They just sound sexy. They all have MySpace accounts, right? So somehow me, Jelly, and Apples start all getting involved with this house of guys we never freaking met. Apparently Jelly's the only one who has met them because she lives right next to them. So she's the only one who's met them. She's like, I go over all the time. They're so cool. They play basketball, this, that, and the third, blah, blah, blah. And she starts sending me and Apple their profiles. I'm like, oh my gosh, they're fine, this, that, and the third. We're like having a boyfriend, and ooh, it's like, oh my God, it's such a deal. Like talking, who are you talking to in school? Like this is that type of time. And I want to say I never really got into that whole like, oh, I didn't care, but I probably did low-key care, because it's like, come on, you're young, like you're getting into like your puberty stages, you're getting into, oh my God, boys, oh my God, this, oh my God, like, oh, we're having sex education classes. Like there's a whole house full of them, right? And I end up getting Nishon. Yo, I've never seen this man in my life. Not once. I had a whole boyfriend who I just never met ever. And so I can't tell this story, I'm embarrassed. Okay, so Apples ends up getting like Jeremiah. I forgot who Jelly got. Somebody named Ty or something like that. Apples got Jeremiah, and I ended up getting Nishon. And so they were called, their last name was the Taylors. So if there's a Nishon Taylor out there, if you're real, like let me know. Middle school me is kind of curious. It's like they were the Taylors. It was so stupid. But anyways, never met them. Not once, but would talk to them all the time. I would text Nishon all the time, and this is when we were texting and spelling things wrong on purpose for some reason. This is like before like emojis were really heavily a thing, and we were just spelling things wrong and putting 3s for E's and putting like the @ symbol for A's and just acting like we didn't have any type of education. This is that era. I feel like our generation of youth is just so embarrassing. Like I see like teens now and they look like whole Instagram models already. Do you know what we looked like when we were 14 back in the day? The skinny jeans era, when people were jerking. The emo swoop of the hair. Oh God, it was so bad. It was such a show. But anyways, so I never meet this person. I'm dating a whole man I've never met. I've texted him on the phone, never talked to him on the phone, never like actually heard a voice. It gets better, right? Because all of them apparently shared a single phone. I deserve to get catfished for believing that lie. The audacity of that lie. So apparently they all had one phone, and they would like pass it amongst each other, like, oh, you get to text your girl, here, you get the phone. Oh, you're texting your girl, you get the phone. So it'd be like, oh, Jeremiah wants to text Apples, he gets the phone. So we were texting one phone number. I don't know, maybe this was the case. Maybe there really could have been a house of fine ass black men and they only had one phone. Maybe their parents didn't want to get everybody a phone. Maybe they couldn't afford it. Like, you know, this is back when Nokia was a thing. This is back when flip phone and razors were a thing. So back in the day, it is kind of believable because it's a lot to get everybody a phone. Not everyone has a phone or had a phone back then. But yeah, that's how it went down. If Jeremiah wanted to text Apples, he got the phone. If Nishon wanted to text me, he would get the phone. And I would text the phone sometimes. They're like, no, this is so-and-so, but I'll let you know when Nishon gets home, this, then, the third, and you guys can talk. Yo. He used to sign off, like, there'd be text messages, like, da-da-da-da-da, dash Nishon, and then 2 ends. Oh my God. Coincidentally, when we would go by to this neighborhood to go visit Jelly, the neighbors, the Taylors, were never home. Never home. Coincidentally, we're just never home. As soon as we would get to the neighborhood, me and Apples be there like, yo, like, we're ready to see our men. Like, where are they at? Where are our mans at? She'd be like, oh, they just left. She'd be like, yeah, they just left. Like, they were just here. Y'all just missed them. Like, they just pulled off. And back then, like, my naive ass was like, oh, okay. Y'all, like, I've literally never met this man once in my life. I never met any of the Taylors. I never met these people. And I was over here, like, legitimate. No wonder they had to tell us to be careful as children for who we talk to on the internet. Yo, I was over here like, yeah, baby. Oh. You're telling me my dumb ass is really over here like, oh, hey, baby. I hope you had a good day. It's good talking to you. Oh, you have to pass the phone now? That's fine. I'll talk to you later. Bye. Y'all, that's so disappointing. This whole story is so disappointing. But yeah, that was it. I ended up, dating some guy named Nyshawn Taylor, who to this day I've never ever met. And I don't know if Jelly made them up or if they were real and we never saw them. Now, one thing, I ended up going on MySpace and I was trying to log into my account. I couldn't remember my email. My email wasn't working, and then I remembered that, oh yeah, I used to use the email cutiemama@hotmail.com, so that's why I couldn't get in with my regular adult normal email that I made a couple of years later. So I tried to log in and they sent me like a forget password, and I was like, oh my god, I'm about to log into my MySpace for the first time in probably like a decade, years, I don't know how long it's been. And so they sent it to my email, but I had trouble getting into my email, the Cutie Mama one, because they're like, we have detected suspicious activity, and I'm like, yeah, it's me digging up my past. Anyways, I tried to search him up and I actually found him. I don't know, like I'm gonna blur out most of his profile, but I found him, and I was trying to find myself in his friends list, or they call it connections now on MySpace, and I was looking for myself and I was like, oh gosh, this is when we were still giving ourselves like stupid ass names. Mine was, hey brah. For what? What's the reason? Hey, brah, who are you yelling at? That was mine, and they had blocked everything out. Like my picture, everything was blocked out, but I was like, oh my gosh, that's me. So it reminded me that all of this was very, very real. I don't know if he was, I don't know if the Taylors were, but the whole situation was very, very real. There I was, just immortalized, fossilized on this man's MySpace page. But yeah, that said, be careful who you talk to on the internet, y'all. Please be careful. In the world of FaceTime, use it. And yeah, that's it. That's all. Thank you all so much for watching. Y'all are my motherfucking monsters, and I'll see you on the next video. If you like this video, subscribe. Let me know that you're vibing with the content. And that's all. Thank you for watching. Bye.